Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Dev and I are doing the discussion over Mythic Battles Ragnarok. It's really interesting because we did a run-through and a discussion over Mythic Battles Pantheon, and it just shows how my channel has changed because we don't have a run-through for Ragnarok. It's just like, just the review.
Just the review.
So, I mean, the long and short of this discussion is mainly that if you really like Pantheon, like Mythic Battles Pantheon, you're gonna like Ragnarok.
Yeah, you want Norse flavor?
Yeah,
Here you go.
Exactly. Although, what is very interesting is, and I don't know why, I don't know if it was they just didn't make as much money. I'd actually have to look at their Kickstarter, which I might do. But there is significantly less content for Ragnarok than there is Pantheon. I mean, literally, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 boxes of Pantheon stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those are really big boxes.
It's hot.
And then the Ragnarok is pretty much the base game and a storage box. And then one other big box that came with Odin and stuff. So, I don't know if that's just because, kind of like the God of War games, there was 3 main games with the Pantheon, but only 2 for the Norse one, maybe the Pantheon.
Yeah, I haven't done enough research. Maybe there's more gods, less gods. I don't know. Maybe it's just the gauge of interest. There's only so many people interested in the Norse portion.
It does seem like Greek Pantheon is more popular. That is just my very, very limited information. But at the end of the day, if you really like Pantheon, then Ragnarok is just as good. And the really cool thing is they're backwards compatible. You can combine them, and they basically say you just follow the Ragnarok rules, which I have not played enough of both to know what the sheer differences are. To be like, oh, Ragnarok does this so much better.
Just different, like, attack abilities, maybe?
Different. That, and I know that I think Scout is a new talent, where some units already start on the board. Okay. I think in Pantheon, no units start on the board, so you had to play cards to deploy them out. Gotcha. But they keep the deploy in Ragnarok. So not every unit will always start on the board. You still have to bring them out, because every side, whenever you're doing the rulebook, or looking in the rulebook, you have like the different boards, and then it tells you kind of like suggested setups. Like, hey, put the rune stones there, and then the colors are the deploy zones. So for Pantheon, the run-through we did was skirmish. We drafted our characters and all that. For this one, we just played the first scenario in the campaign, and I actually really liked the scenario. I thought it still kept the core thing, but you didn't have to have the hassle of trying to figure out how to build. It was kind of like, hey,
soldiers,
pure offense, pure defense. Like my side played out exactly how I wanted it to, which was, it's always nice whenever you kind of get a deck that you build or an army that you construct, and you get to see it actually come to fruition. Because my whole plan was Sigurd and Beowulf. I was going to have be the dream team to take
the forward offense,
to take out your monsters, and then I was going to kind of keep Freya and Lagertha, which I didn't kind of do this until the very end, but I was kind of have them be like the girl duo that was just going to be defense. Yeah, and my plan was to kind of just sweep the board and just kind of like be like, you can't kill them as I'm claiming these stones.
Yeah, that was my whole thing. Was like, after we listed all of our abilities and whatnot, I'm like, okay, you're better toe to toe. I need to step away and do underhanded things. I'm Loki, for the love of God.
That's true.
So I'm like, I need to avoid direct confrontation as much as I can, while crippling you and trying to use my, his gem collector to try to collect more gems, rather than try to take Freya head on.
Yeah, which is so... I mean, this game, both of them, are just so dynamic in that way. Like, you know me, we've played so many skirmish games that I'm like, that I don't like. A lot, and this game has die rolling for attacking, and I love it. Like, they found a way to make a skirmish game very tactful, and there's randomness in the game, but to me, randomness is always a problem, kind of, whenever you do a lot of setup, a lot of build-up, and you get excited, and then it's just like, nope, dice didn't go your way.
Yeah.
Which can still happen, but, like, they, like, I'm trying to think, there's another game that I might pop into my head later, but it's like, you're almost not gonna whiff. Mm-hmm. Like, when you're attacking. It's like,
you'll get one wound, maybe.
But that's better than 0.
Yeah. And I do like the weakening aspect. So it's like, you don't have to just go for the kill. Like, I didn't get the kill, what's the point? No, you got some wounds in, they're slower, they're weaker.
Yeah.
They're easier to wound next time.
Exactly.
So that's why I was thinking, okay, from the ranged attack, your 2 front runners, okay, they're going to be softer now. Now, I didn't realize that they were going to lose movement, but that was a huge bonus.
Well, they can lose movement, and they can lose their powers.
Yeah.
So, like, even though, I had both Sigurd and Beowulf kill out your one of your monsters, which is what I wanted, after that, they were effectively taken out. Mm. Like, they weren't killed, but Beowulf had 1 movement. Mm. So, I mean, and Sigurd also had 1 movement, but he was over there in the frost, and now the battle had shifted further away. Mm-hmm. So it was no longer in my interest to spend my 1 activation or a Precious Art of War card to bring them back into the fight. Yeah. So I basically, my final hand had 2 Sigurd cards, and I'm like, I don't want to activate him. He's in a polar zone. Yeah. So one of those is just going to be like, hey, get him out of there.
It's almost worse to have a crippled soldier than to have him gone, because then you could use 2 of them as an Art of War.
Exactly.
But when they're still like crippled and on the board, it's like I still have to activate them with their cards.
No, exactly, and that's the good point I'm making, is that even though I won with 4 absorbance to 3, like it literally came down to the wire, your build still was, like, your strategy still worked. Mm. Because, like, whenever I killed your troops or killed your monsters, you were like, hey, now I have more maneuverability to have Loki constantly go. And it's like, fuck, I have basically dead hands. Like, me getting Beowulf cards or getting them is like, if those were the only ones in my hand, it's like, shit. But that's the other thing of the randomness of the game, is, like, with the combat, but also with your deck. But... so if you're not drawing certain cards, it's like, well, you have a bunch of Art of War cards that, as a maneuver, you can just be like, well, I know I have a Loki card still in my deck, so I'm going to actively go search for that. Mm. That is amazing. Because if it was always just rely on top decking, then I probably...
those Art of War cards are very precious. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But even then, it was coming down to the point where I used a lot of them, whether it's for abilities or for extra activations. But then once my deck started thinning out, I'm like, how many do I have? Okay, I have 8. Oh shit, there's 7 in the discard pile. I need 1 to, like, because I was trying to use her Val Shammer, where she can teleport. Mm-hmm. I was trying to use that, and it's like, shit, how do I get her involved? Because you started going this way, all the runes were claimed over there, and I'm like, once I got her over there, I'm like, I got this. Loki's over there being defended. He's not getting killed. And then I'm like, oh my god, he ran over here and then hopped over and gem collected. Oh, am I going to lose this? No.
Yep, dang.
So, so it's the perfect balance, I think, of randomness that I like in a skirmish game. Because it's just so unique. Mm-hmm. Like, the combat system is awesome. Which, if you're not familiar with Pantheon or Ragnarok, basically, people have defense that is higher than what is on the die. So, because the dice only go up to 5, basically you have 2 assault phases. The first one is to kind of get as many 5s as possible, and then save those, and then re-roll them to add to those 5s. So if you're trying to attack 8 and you end up getting 3 5s, which you can use other dice to discard to increase the value of another die. So if you roll a 4 and you roll a 1, you could discard the 1 to turn the 4 into a 5.
Yeah, but it's only worth 1 each time.
It is only worth 1 each time. Yeah, you don't, like, add the values to each other. Right. That just was actually an example. So if it was like, if I rolled a 2 and a 4, that's not 6. I spend the 2 to turn the 4 into a 5. And it's like, oh, okay, well, now I have 3 5s. and then you re-roll those, and now you add. That's a good roll, and you add the results now to those 5. So I just roll a 2, 3, and a 4. If I'm trying to get an 8, the 4 and the 3 add to the 5, being an 8 and a 9. That's 2 wounds. But it's really, really cool that some characters, like heroes, hold on to their abilities. But, like, for example, Beowulf, if he gets down to 1 hit point, he no longer can use his powers.
Nice.
Like, he has 5 defense, 5 attack, no movement, no range, and his like automatic wound and his one that can change a blank into a 5 are gone.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, because he was a fucking offensive powerhouse.
He was
from the beginning.
Disgusting. God, yeah. we need to play this with Greek. We need Beowulf versus Achilles. It's just like, oh, what? You ignore the first wound? Yeah, I'm actually gonna just
did you need free wounds?
Right. I heard about that ankle, bitch. But Freya, for example, if she gets down to 6 wounds, she actually loses her ability to teleport.
Nice.
So some of them will lose abilities earlier in their wounds than normal, which is, again, very interesting, and that's definitely very concerning with her, because you lose the game if your divinity dies. That it's like if she can't jet out of there, like you get her down to 2 hit points, which her defense stays at 7.
Yeah.
The good thing is she still ignores the first wound by range 0 attacks. It's like, but if she can't teleport, doesn't really matter. Because, I mean, if you have Beowulf, it doesn't matter, actually. He can just inflict 2 automatic wounds.
There you go.
It doesn't matter if it's a divinity or anything.
So is it just like, so if he like rolls like dick, he gets a free 2?
It's instead of rolling.
Ah, okay.
So you have to spend an Art of War, and so you don't roll. You can just take 2.
That's like kind of the average during an attack, is what I felt.
So, I mean, it is, you could either, because he has his high attack, like, I mean, potentially, theoretically, with 6 attack, you could roll 6 5s.
No, for sure. I'm just saying, it seems like every time we fought, it was averaging about 2 depending upon what you're facing. Like, if you're going against my lower level guy, you're going to get 3 or 4.
Right. These guys specifically had Monster Slayer, which got them rerolls. I will say, though, that, like, the dice aren't perfect. Like, you could still roll less than ideal. Like, at least it's not so much of a fact that's like, well, I keep whiffing, but it's like, well, you're doing chip damage, but I'm getting 3 damage every time I attack. So the dice are still a factor. But I could argue that could also be a case of how you draft or how you build. If you actively chose people that had no defensive measures, no guard, no allies get defense, then it's like you chose to be a glass cannon.
Yeah.
So if you're getting hit, it's just like, well, you better hope you're dealing damage more than they are. But that's just what's super fascinating. I know we're talking more about the system of Mythic Battles, but that's mainly just because Ragnarok,
if you play the first one, it's the same. It's the same game.
Yeah, I really wish that they did
Just more characters.
Well, no. There are a lot. Like, I'm not saying... It's like...
Oh, I guess these runes are new, aren't they?
They have... No, because in Greek, in Pantheon, they have omphalos, which are essentially the same thing.
Oh, okay.
But again, I don't remember... I know that they were a card that you got in, but I don't remember if they added to your power or... if they also just acted as another Art of War. The way you win is still the same. Collect 4 omphalos or runes or kill a divinity. When we played our Pantheon one, we did Zeus versus Hades. And I think I won by killing Hades with Zeus's lightning. But that one also...
I think you were Hades. I think I was Zeus.
I don't remember.
But
it's been so long.
It's been a while.
But yeah, like there's still a lot of content. There's still tons of gods, tons of heroes. It is super weird. I'm trying to find the Mythic Battles Pantheon.
It was I forget.
So Mythic Battles Pantheon 1.5 made 1.1 million. The first one made 2.6 million. And then Mythic Battles Ragnarok Was that not on? Oh, there it is. Made 2.4 million. It made a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't know. Maybe it's just literally Greek Pantheon just has more to pull from. So they're like, hey, we can just make it about anything. The other really, really cool thing is it's so customizable. Like, if you don't want to take the time to draft, because how drafting works is you're basically given, in a 2-player game, 18 points to spend. Mm-hmm. And all the characters next to their name have a number, which is their value. But you can only ever draft one divinity. So it's like, okay, out of all the gods, pick one. You can either... They also have a companion app, which I actually totally forgot to... I think I just wanted to have the ease of a scenario, which you could also do that.
Yeah.
It's called Wrath of the Gods, and pretty much what you just do is you can create a game and then put in, like, all of your content, and then...
randomize it.
It pretty much, you just do a random draft, all universes, so Pantheon and Ragnarok, number of points 18, 2 players, and then you just send the email to the person, and then they accept it, and then it's just like, here's your units.
Nice.
Like, here's the board, the units, so you don't even have to do the draft. You can just use the app to randomly set it up and be like, okay, well, here's your god. I happen to get Dionysus. And you got, fucking Thor. So, God, it's just so cool. The shitty part is it's a ton of minis. And there's no way to store it. Which, they did a better job. Both of the contents at least have a storage box for all the cards. So all of that is in one box.
Yeah.
So you just have to contend with all the different boxes with minis. I don't know. I don't like a lot of skirmish games. I did a top 10 combat systems. This combat system made it.
Mm-hmm. We've done several.
Right. And usually it's like, I know one you don't like, Summoner Wars. I do like. That was the card-based one.
Well, like, was that the latest one we played?
No, that was when we played at Gen Con that one time, where it was just our summoners left.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're too far away, and if you can't attack, you take a damage, so it's just gonna stall out and you die.
Let's see.
I'm trying to think about another skirmish game that we've...
There's Hate. I remember Hate.
Hate was a skirmish.
It had so much presentation.
It did.
It's like, in beautiful, like, well-designed minis.
Yeah.
Big chunk and pieces of plastic.
Right.
And they all look hateful. They all just look like ugly, mean guys. But then I remember the system was fairly...
It was just so messy and just kind of simplistic. You're like, man, these minis are amazing. Like, they're so good. I can see the individual chain links in their chainmail. Anyway, they don't do anything on the board.
what was there another one? It was more hexagonal minis on it.
Joan of Arc is
that's
a skirmish game,
right?
That I'm not a fan of, because that basically is roll and see and hope dice go your way. I
do like Joan of Arc's movement system. I really liked its activation system, the squares and activating them.
Right.
I really like that.
But it's combat. It's like it's a whole lot to do about nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, a lot of them kind of just turn out to do a lot of, fanfare, and then, well, I missed. All right, your turn. And this doesn't have that. You were talking about that you liked the perfect or imperfect information.
No, I like perfect information.
Well, this is perfect information is like BattleCon almost.
Well, I mean, I understand here that yes, there's the dice that you cannot control. I like knowing that, okay, I can. You have these traits, you have these abilities. I can see what you're capable of doing.
Yeah, the only thing you don't know is what's in their hand. Mm-hmm. So, and that's kind of.
Oh, I guess not really. Perfect.
So that's like imperfect information. Is you have a lot of information where it's like, okay, I can look at your discard pile, I can see all your abilities, I know how many activations. So if you know Freya has 4 cards, which you can clearly see, look through their discard pile, Freya's in here 4 times, you cannot possibly activate her.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But if there's 3 cards in my discard pile, you don't know if I have a Freya card in my hand or if it's still in my deck.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the imperfect information, but still, like, in a skirmish game, you almost want that. Like, one, because you want to have the fog of war element. Like, you don't want to know exactly what I can do, because then it becomes deterministic.
Yeah.
And deterministic combat, I think, is very boring. Where it's like, okay, I mathed it out, that's the math, I win. Like, it's like, well, no, I can do this. It's like, no, you can't, because I can see that the defense is here, and then you can only move here, and you could do that, and it's like, no, you can't win, so let's just call it. This doesn't have that. It's like, shit, okay. Who can he activate? Does he have any Art of War? How many Art of War can he have? He has...
What was the game we played Gen Con with all of us? I know we had that Kingmaker scenario in that one.
Oh, Tsukiyumi. Tsukiyumi is a great game. I don't consider that a skirmish game. I consider that a area
control. Yeah,
area control. Right. But and that's so unique. It's muddy as hell with rules, but Tsukiyumi is very, very cool. That was the worst case scenario to ever have.
Yeah.
4-player game, one person can't win. Nothing they can do. But they have the decision on it.
Who's gonna? Yeah.
Yeah, and we're all like, pick your favorite, Mason. Who do you like more? Because it's like, you do this, Devin wins. You do that, Keith wins. You don't do anything, I win. God, that was bad. And luckily, we were all friends, and we were like, let's just fucking call it. No one wins. Tsukiyumi is a good one. Because, again, I wouldn't even call Root a skirmish game. I guess I'm trying to think, like...
That's true. A skirmish game is more, your forces versus a single other person's forces.
Yes.
And you're maneuvering against each other.
Exactly.
There's not a third or fourth element. It's
right.
just you and me
Yep.
and our forces.
Here's my build that I'm going to try and see if it works. Hope it works against what you got.
And then you take it to the highest extent. It's Warhammer.
Yes, 100%.
Absurd.
Where you can't even play unless your minis are painted.
Oh, buddy.
With 3 different paints.
And that's what it is. It's alluring in its restriction. It's like you have to do this work.
Yeah.
You have to be at this level of hobby before you can even think of coming in here.
Yeah, exactly. You just go in and it just smells like shit, and you're surrounded by a bunch of sweats.
No, they're at least middle to upper middle class to afford to play Warhammer.
No, they use their parents' income.
Or that.
But yeah, Mythic Battles is awesome. So much customization, and I know for a fact, because they've already announced it, you can actually go and follow the Kickstarter page. They're doing Egypt next.
Yeah.
Which
nice.
if my knowledge of pantheons is ranked, it's Greek, then Norse, and I know very little about those. I know kind of like the haphazard stories every now and then Egypt. Not even I maybe can name one god.
Yeah.
Ra. Yeah. That's one. And I'm like, that's it. I don't know anything
Horus
else.
and Ra. That's it. That's all I got.
But again, that's backwards compatible. So you just throw in Greek.
Anubis.
Anubis is one. Yep.
That's the death jackal-headed one. Horus is the eagle-faced one.
Yeah.
I have no idea what Ra is.
I thought Ra was the eagle.
Could be. I could be very wrong.
I think there's a crocodile one also.
Answer in the comments.
Yeah, there's a right. I'm trying to go because the same company that made Blood Rage and Rising Sun, they did another game called Ankh, which sucks ass. But that was Egypt, and they had a bunch of gods in there. And I'm trying to think of what was. I think there's a hippo. There's a bunch of animals.
There's definitely a hippo.
There's definitely. They're all animal gods.
Yeah. What was it? What was it? What's that DC character? No, the
Moon
Knight. He's
yeah.
the one with all the reference to Egypt nonsense.
Which is cool. But that'll be another pantheon that gets thrown in, so backwards compatible, where you could play a 3-player game with
content, baby.
Egypt and Greek and Norse, and they're all fighting.
Are people still buying this game? Maybe more content. Here you go.
Yeah.
There's more.
I think that's it, though. Well, I mean, I guess you could you can go Japanese.
Guess you could.
Yeah,
I mean, Japanese has a lot of spirits and shit.
True.
They don't have a lot of big gods.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I'm just,
Yeah, because I was thinking, maybe Indian, but that's that. I mean,
don't they have thousands? I think they have thousands of gods.
That's true. I don't know where they go from here.
They can do whatever the hell.
They really can, and it's monolith because I think Mythic Battles was originally done by Mystic Games. I mean, I could be totally eating ass on this. Let me pull my wiener out and Mythic Battles Pantheon. That's Monolith 1.5. I swear Mystic Games had a. There's the first one. Okay, so it was Mythic Games and Monolith were on it. But Mythic Games is fucking garbage as a company. They are essentially... They just basically rob people. Like, if... Like, every single Kickstarter that I have, I think I'm getting Rainbow Six Siege still, but I had to pay, like, an extra...
Is that them?
Yes. The Six Siege. Yeah, I had to pay, like, an extra $200-$300 just to get it. And a lot of people were pissed about that, and I was like, look, I paid $500 for it all. It's either I can lose the $500 or I can pay more and get the game. Mm-hmm. Like, but
Jesus.
Never paying for them again. So it was nice that Monolith kind of took this, and so like, cause this was like to get everything, I think it was like $700-$800.
Yeah, damn.
For everything, and it's like I'm glad Monolith came through and fulfilled instead of being in this limbo of like, well, Mythic still owns it. Mm-hmm. So, do you have any negatives on the game?
I mean, I don't believe so. It feels balanced.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, of course, with any of these games, you need to know the rules inside and out.
Yes.
And, forgetting...
Which, the play rate is super good.
Good. It was very good. So I will commend them for that. Because usually what'll salt me up in these games is that there'll be a rule or something that, like, I forget or you don't realize. And then, obviously, I mean, you have to learn the game because you have to teach me. Of course you're going to know more.
Right.
So then, I just get frustrated because I always lose. But I feel like it's done really well that I didn't feel that.
Yes.
And so that is good.
Right. Yeah, there was one instance where it was actually a scenario rule that we forgot where it's like, oh, when you absorb, you can actually search your discard pile for a card. That was which we both forgot, and it's like, oh, we both absorbed one. Okay, well, we'll just call out a wash. There was one rule that, I recognized when it was my turn. I'm like, oh wait, I can absorb from the area.
Yeah, small like things like that. And like for the beginning, we weren't drawing our power cards, so
right.
A lot of things, and that's fine.
Right.
I'm just saying that it was very clear and concise, clean. I like that. In this type of game, that helps with the longevity. In other games we've run into, I didn't like that so much. Or their systems, I didn't like as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, whenever you look at it and you see powers and then you see talents, and it's like a bunch of keywords, those can be like, oh, you feel like you're living.
I can put them right here. Yeah.
Yeah, you're living in it, but it all kind of makes sense. Like you look at it and you're like, what's initiative mean? And then you read it and you're like, oh, got it. Okay. And it doesn't feel like it's a lot, because I feel like even games like, KDM or ATO that we're playing, that's like, you're just constantly trying to remember what keywords mean.
Oh, God. KDM's got it bad because they keep introducing new ones or replacing things that didn't have a keyword before with new keywords.
Right. And with a skirmish game like this, with how much content there can be, it's still just like, yeah, okay, I know what block means. I know what guard means. And even I read this rule book once, a few days ago, and I was able to teach from the player aid.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times it's like, here's the player aid. It's not like, let's just go through the rule book so I can help, so it can keep me guided. And I was like, nope, basically on your turn you draw a card, you can only activate what's in your hand.
Yeah. Like
there's no trying to figure out how to activate certain units. It's like, this is what I got. And that's the kind of strategy I like, where it's like where dice or cards dictate your actions. You don't have to be like, okay, I want to activate Freya, can I? I didn't draw her, so no. It's like, it's before randomization. Here's my hand. Okay, I don't have Freya in my hand. I have Lagertha and Beowulf. Okay, how can I utilize those the best right now? And that's tactile situations. Kind of like you getting Brunhilde involved. I thought once you abandoned her over there because she couldn't defend for Loki, I was like, oh, he's never using her. It's like, nope, you had her just... And the map is very interesting, too, because they're not, like, perfect spaces. Yeah. So, like, for example, this spot here is adjacent to this spot.
Yeah.
But a lot of games wouldn't have that. They'd have perfect symmetry, so it's like, nope, you can't go diagonal, you have to go here. Even though it's not, like, orthogonal-only movement, which I much prefer in a lot of games. If you can move diagonal in games, it's just like, oh, there's no strategy. Yeah.
Yeah.
This game with its weird shape still has it, and I like that there's a lot of different types of terrain that can be used that it's like, oh, okay, you are like, you can build a range heavy side. It's like, well, I'm just gonna hide in the fucking forest. I'm gonna have a lot of people run and claim those and come back into the woods, because if you're gonna be range only, I'm gonna at least get the defense for it. So you can utilize the board and its terrain to your advantage, which makes a great skirmish game. But yeah, you can keep going. Sorry, there's the you were talking about any negatives.
Oh, no, I don't believe I do. I mean, feels very good.
Yeah,
A good game.
I don't really have much else to say. Just that, again, there's just a lot of player agency. Because even if, like I said, you don't have a card that you need, maneuvers can be done anytime.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're attacking me. Well, I have initiative, but I don't have the card that lets me activate them, but I have 5 Art of Wars in my hand. Let me use that, search for the card, and then spend it to do the initiative. So I'm going to attack you first.
Yeah.
Just things like that. Yeah, so Mythic Battles Ragnarok, it's awesome. The characters all feel different as well, which is cool, and they can, for a lot, like, because sometimes skirmish games can just kind of feel like it's just, like, math, you know, and I feel like this one and Pantheon can just be really thematic. Especially if you know a lot about the Pantheons, which I don't, but you can get involved in, like, animating the fight and stuff. Like, you know, oh man, I'm gonna have Lagertha run up, jump up on the plank, and then just kind of cut down your shield maidens, and then you have your guy come behind me and just frost touch her. Basically, yeah. And then Sigrid's over there frozen. Still, he's like, it's fucking cold.
I can't move.
Yeah,
It'll hurt.
Yeah, it'll hurt it hurts to move. Alright, well, I can't think of anything else, so on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving Mythic Battles Ragnarok?
I will give it, I mean, skirmish games I've encountered, I want to give it, I'll give it an 8.
An 8?
I'm a confident 8.
A very, very nice 8. Yeah, I think I agree with you on an 8, but I'm gonna bump it up to a 9 because I have Pantheon. Like, if I just had Ragnarok, it would be an 8. But one, Pantheon allows just any amount of combinations.
Yeah.
Just, it's so cool to take them and be like, hey, what if Zeus and Odin fought? Bring them in. Let's just see how that. Let's do Ares versus Tyr, both God of Wars. Just tons and tons of just customization, which I love. And the fact that it does a perfect balance for me of randomization with the deck and dice, which a lot of games can, for me, be like, it's too random.
Yeah.
Like, either the dice are, like, if it has dice, then let me control the deck. But the fact that it has both, and I'm not frustrated by either one, is a testament to this game, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 9. I really like it.
Sexy.
And they have a mini campaign. Oopsie. Yeah.
Shitted.
So, that is our thoughts on Mythic Battles Ragnarok and kind of Pantheon and whatever. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.